let's talk about something else that's awesome. 2D shadows. I mean, this is a cool effect, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, I mean, I don't know if Renee, are you having a demo that you're going to show us?
Yes, of course. I plan to show an example after some screens.
Yeah, give us the background. You know, take us through how you came up with this and what you're using it for, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. How I came up, of course, after seeing Corona Geek Show number 119, where Ed Marina showed us some vector stuff. I thought about, yes, vector stuff is cool, and I have to build some shadow system. The technique is rather old, and I was wondering nobody had made something like this with Corona. I remember, I don't know, 6 years ago, I already wrote something like this in a different language. I prepared some slides how I basically how the shadow polygons are created, and yeah, I think I just start.
Okay.
The slides. Screen sharing.
While Renee's setting that up, I'll just say that there is a YouTube video out there that shows all of this stuff in action, and we'll put a link to that in the show notes as well as a link to the slides.
Yes.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah, we can see it.
You can see the slides now, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so how do I move the slide? Oh. Okay, so the source code it's all available at Bitbucket, bit.ly/2D shadows. It's all free. You can use it as you want. And let's start. So to the right, you can see a screenshot of a basic setup. You need a light source at the L. This is the center of the light source, and you note a shadow caster. In this case, this crate with this center at point C, and there you can see 2 lines of code how to set up a shadow caster object. I created in this line. I created a table with the vertices that describes the shape of the shadow caster object. It's like the polygon function of Corona. And in the second line, you see the add shadow caster method, and the first parameter is the shape you can assign, and the texture file of the crate, and the dimensions of the image. And basically, that's all to set up a shadow caster object. First step when creating the shadow polygon is to check which of the vertices is involved in throwing the shadow. This is, here I did use some vector stuff like dot products and checking which edges between each vertex, between each vertices is looking towards the light source or looking away from the light source, and to sort out which vertex is involved. And after that, we just create some vectors from the light source to each vertex, and then we just project these vertices. In other words, we just make a longer version of it. So we're getting some new points. Basically, that's it. These are all the points we need to create the shadow polygon. Yeah, that's the basic principle of shadow casting.
So is this? I mean, do you have to have an understanding of high school geometry to do this, or what were you? What's the level here? Is this intermediate stuff, or?
I think it's
advanced.
Good intermediate stuff.
Solid intermediate. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if vector math is in high school. I don't know the school system in the US. It's
No,
I think it's one of the last classes I had in my school time. And,
yeah, I don't think I took vector math. I'm pretty certain of that.
and I know it was boring and it wasn't fun because I did not know you can write a shadow system with it. Yeah, it would be much cooler in school if you would developing games using this stuff to teach vector math. It would be so cool. But
Hey,
okay.
I think if everybody came dressed as Star Wars characters, I think school would just be much more fun.
Maybe. Okay. Something I can show is in the last couple of days, I had time to do an update to the shadow system, and I've come up with some nice new features, and I want to show the most important. Now you can set up circle shapes because perfect circle shape. It's tedious to describe a perfect circle out of vertices because it would be rather edgy, or you need very many vertices to create a nice circle shape. So I overloaded the edge shadow caster method, and instead of assigning a table with the shape vertices, you can just enter an integer, and this is the radius of the circle shape. And another nice feature is multiple shapes. I added an add shape method to add additional shapes to run to one shadow casting object. This is just one shadow casting object. This is the first shape, and I added a small second shape. And now you're asking, what is this useful for? And it is. It is for if you want to create complex shapes and even concave shapes, you just break down the complex shape in several convex shapes, and then you can create nice complex objects throwing shadows. As you can see in the next image, this beaker, it's a beaker? I don't know, this Corona Geek drink has been broken down into 8 convex shapes. And even cooler, you can just, for example, use Code and Web's physics editor to automatically create the shape of this complex object. You can just load the image, you can press the wand, magic wand, and it automatically creates a shape for your object. And these shapes can be used in the shadow system as well, which is very nice. And it's also working with Corona physics system.
Wow.
And I will show a short example in a second. Yeah, this is the vector stuff that's happening with this complex Corona Geek energy drink. So I will show you now an example before I come to the summary. Okay, do you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, this is the setup with some simple objects, and as you can see, physics working and the light source, it's all in real time, and yeah, it's working nice. And I have also a little example of, no, maybe first I'll show you how to set up such a scene. First things you have to do, this is this one to require the shadow system. This is the only mandatory require. This one is only for my stuff. And next thing is to initialize the shadow system. These numbers are for the ambient light. This is the background lights. The background gets a bit darkened so that the shadows are visualized better. And after you have initialized the shadow system, you can just add a shadow caster with this line of code. And you need a light source, which you can do with the add light function. With the color of the light here, and this is the color, the radius of the light, and the intensity, and the nice lens flare effects here. Yeah, classic one. Okay.
Question for you?
Yes, please.
2 questions, actually.
Okay.
First question is the release that we're looking at right now out on the Git or the your repository?
This one is the new one. I will upload it today.
Okay.
And yeah.
And my second question is between the time you released it the first time, you made one update that I noticed. And was that were you doing an optimization pass? Because it looks like it got, I looked at it yesterday.
Yes.
And I ran a sample with 6 shadow objects.
Okay.
6 light sources and 6 casters.
Okay.
Which results in 36 shadows.
Yes.
And ran it on my Nexus 7 Gen 1 and got 30 frames a second.
Okay.
Which was way better than the performance on the first release. So I thought maybe you did something. No?
I think
the first time was wrong?
I think the update I made was.
I guess I should have looked at the diff. My bad. Sorry.
No, no problem. But I only changed a README.
Okay. Well, maybe that's all it took. Well, the performance is excellent. I mean, it's really quite good for what you're doing. This complex number of calculations.
Yes, I have been afraid that the performances would be much better, but it's doing nice. I am surprised.
Do you have any ideas for soft shadows?
Yes, I'm currently experimenting with soft shadows, but I also try to let it be compatible to the starter edition of Corona.
Right.
And with the starter edition, it's well, I think I found a way, but
maybe it's blend modes, or I don't know.
It's in fact the old version drawed the polygons directly onto the screen with display objects, but the new version is creating a shadow buffer image. So all the
right.
shadow polygons are drawn in on a white background, and after it, this new image is displayed onto screen with blend mode add, I think, or screen. Multiply. I don't know. Some of these.
Figure it out.
Yeah. And these shadow buffer technique, this will make it possible.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
I forgot to mention, I added my code from last week, the rotating code, because I wanted the performance cost if the shadows were constantly getting updated. Now it doesn't look good with the Hangout because it's not getting a great frame rate, but it's totally solid on the device, which was a real surprise to me, considering the massive number of high-level calculations you have to do this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you bennies on the coding.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look it over carefully because in the forums, I promised you I'd look at it. I did look at it, and I found a few hot spots, but nothing where you could really make it faster without making it less understandable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have one, tell me.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
The Lucky Luke problem.
Yes.
Are you having any luck?
No. No luck with Lucky Luke.
And what? For the rest of us, to explain the Lucky Luke and what was going on there.
Yeah. The problem is when you move a shadow caster object with the transition to command, it seems that the transition updates getting updated. I don't know, in a thread. I don't know. So the shadow caster is faster than the shadow itself updates. So there's a little lag between the shadow and the shadow casting object. And
yeah, the transition is a continuous update that it continues to occur post enter frame. So by the time you get to the code that calculates the shadow, the X and Y position of the vertices has changed from the position that they're rendered at. So the object that is moving is in one position, but the vertices that represent it are in a different position when the enter frame code starts to execute. Which you're using enter frame, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, to start the sequence of calculations for shadows.
Yeah, enter frame.
Yeah, so the way to solve that is to not allow transition to do the movement. So allow transition to update a temporary variable, like x1, y1, to do the movement, and then every enter frame, the object that's being moved is responsible for grabbing the current value and using it and putting it in x and y. And the key here is the enter frame for the mover has to be called before the shadow. So people listening, create the mover code, attach it and start it, then start the shadow code. And then you'll get rid of the lucky loop.
Yeah, good idea.
Because I forgot to say that, but this example here doesn't have the lucky loop problem.
And it's using transitions.
Yeah, so it's just a question that has always been frustrating for me, is the transition keeps going subsequent to enter frame, and you've got that 10, 16 millisecond period where you could be doing work and it could have been doing more updates. So.
Okay. So I only have one last example with moment please.
Ed, are you going to be posting that code that you were just showing us?
I'll send it to René, and he can put it alongside his example if he wants.
Okay.
I can wait until René does his update and then coordinate with him, because I want to keep it all with his repository.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I just wonder if we could get access to it.
Sure.
Yes.
All you guys' hard work. Can we get access to everything? Can you just do that for us?
Very nice, yeah. Okay. I only wanted to show that this is working with isometric styles graphics. It's working too. Very nice.
Very nice. Yes, definitely.
And of course, I wanted to show the Corona Geek energy drink with physics in real-time shadows.
With the real-time shadows.
Okay.
That is really cool.
It's awesome, is what it is.
Cool.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Oh, God, there was something else. Yeah, well, some other thing I'm forgetting. I can't wait to find a real decent use for this in a game. I've got some ideas, but nothing quite right so far.
It's a fast food game. It's a fast food game. You throw the burgers and the fries and the drink out the window at the customer, and then the physics engine's involved, and yeah, that's good stuff.
Okay.
So have you done? This is a side note, since you were talking about the isometric version of things. Have you done much isometric game development?
No, not much.
Okay.
I really would like, and I like the free tiled engine, and has I don't know. There are some Corona wrappers for it, but they are not developed anymore, I think. Okay. So I have to write all myself.
Yeah, right. So I'm interested in that topic, and I just if we could put together a discussion on that. I think people would definitely be interested in it. Okay. So you got this. This is you referred to it earlier as a shadow system. So, are you planning to continue to develop on this, or what are your plans there?
Yes, plans are soft shadows, to support soft shadows, and I'm excited if the performance still is good with the soft shadow system, because we have to draw a lot of. It's not me. And to draw a lot of extra stuff to use soft shadows, and yeah, it's not cheap for this little extra coolness.
Gotcha. You say cheap in terms of what? In terms of performance, or in terms of
performance,
yeah, okay.
and development, yeah.
and development, yeah.